शारदा शारदाम्भोजवदनां वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं सन्निधिं क्रियात् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. To understand that Lalita Parameshwari is Srimata, we would do well to understand how creation takes place and why she is the person who is the mother of this universe. Actually, Lalita Parameshwari is Parabrahman itself. What is Brahman? Shruti defines Brahman as that from which this Jagat or the universe comes, into which it remains and into which it dissolves. That means this Jagat's creation, sustenance and dissolution happens from Brahman. That is the definition of Brahman. So, when Lalita Parameshwari is none other than Brahman itself, this universe is coming from her, is sustained by her, and it dissolves into her. How exactly it happens? This is an additional role of Devi. She becomes the para and apara prakriti with which this whole universe, from which this whole universe comes out, and in which it is all sustained. So let us first understand this cycle of creation, how exactly this Shrishti takes place. When there is pralaya, everything dissolves into Parabrahman, but they are all in seed form in Maya. For us here, Maya is Devi, and Maya is none other than Brahman. Maya and Brahman are one and the same. However, when the Srishti starts, when creation starts, the Maya becomes kinetic energy. When it is dissolution, it is one with Brahman, it is the potential energy, and now the world is going to manifest through her. First from Parabrahman, an Avyakrita comes out. That is the undifferentiated universe. Just as when in the fetus is not formed as there are no hands or parts of the body in the fetus, it's just a mass. In the same way, there is a big pinda, as we say, Brahmanda. So that divides into two, Avyakta and Prana. From Avyakta comes all the Jada Sharira, unmanifested forms of matter. And from Prana comes all the unmanifested forces, the vital energy. When Parabrahman, along with Para-Prakriti and Apara-Prakriti, is called Ishvara. Just as a woman, before she gives birth to a child and she's pregnant, we say she's pregnant. But when the child is born, we call her mother. It's the same person. In the same way, Ishvara is the same as Parabrahman. But when Para-Prakriti and Apara-Prakriti get manifested, Brahman is called Ishvara. Now what is Apara-Prakriti? What does it do? From Apara-Prakriti, 8 things come out. The Avyakta, Mahat. From Avyakta comes Mahat. From Mahat comes Ahankara. From Ahankara come the 5 Tanmatras. What are these Tanmatras? Tanmatras are subtle elements. For example, the Akasha's Tanmatra is Shabda, sound. Vayu's Tanmatra is Sparsha or touch. Agni's Tanmatra is Rupa or sight. Jala or water's Tanmatra is taste, rasa. And Bhumi's Tanmatra, Prithvi's Tanmatra, is Gandha, smell. So Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha are the 5 Tanmatras. So what all has come out of Apara Prakriti now? Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankar and 5 Tanmatras. So 5 plus 3, 8. Now from this Mahat comes the Samashti Buddhi. What do we mean by Samashti? If you take all the individuals and add them together, it's called the Samashti or the cosmic, that is the cosmos. So the cosmic intellect is called the Samashti Buddhi, and from Ahankara comes the Samashti Manas or the cosmic mind. Now, the moment this Samashti Buddhi and Samashti Manas comes, it is said that Hiranyagarbha is born. Who is Hiranyagarbha? Hiranyagarbha is Chaturmukha Brahma, who has been given the adhikara of doing Srishti. So he is the firstborn. Now, from Avyakta all these have come, and when Avyakta is added with Avidya, that becomes the Samashti Ahankara of Hiranyagarbha or Brahmaji. Now let us first again understand all these 8 things are going to help Hiranyagarbha. First Hiranyagarbha comes out of it, and Hiranyagarbha will now mix these 5 Tanmatras to make the Pancha Mahabhuta. Pancha Tanmatras are very subtle. They have to become more gross. Each stage that we go down in this Srishti cycle, from the subtle, things are becoming more and more gross. Now, the bodies have to be created. So before that, what Hiranyagarbha does is mixes these 5 Tanmatras, that is called Panchikarana. The Shabda is the guna of Akasha, Sparsha is the guna of Vayu, Rupa is guna of Agni, Rasa is guna of Jala, Gandha is guna of Prithvi. So this is considered as a subtle body of Hiranyagarbha. He has no body. He doesn't have a gross body like the human beings or other animals. Now, what he does is by mixing these elements, the Tanmatras, creates the Panchikrita Mahabhutas. How does he mix it? In Akasha, even after mixing, only the Shabda Guna is there. So even the Panchikrita Akasha has only Shabda Guna. But Panchikrita Vayu, what happens? The Shabda and Sparsha are mixed. So Panchikrita Vayu not only has Sparsha, but it has Sparsha and Shabda. It is sound and touch. Panchikrita Agni has Rupa mixed with Shabda and Sparsha. So it is having all 3 elements, Shabda, Sparsha and Rupa, the 3 Tanmatras. The Panchikrita Jala or water, its Tanmatra is Rasa. It is mixed with Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. So it gets 4 Tanmatras. So you see, Panchikrita Akasha is very, very subtle, Sukshma. Little more gross is Panchikrita Vayu. More gross is Agni. It has 3. And Panchikrita Jala is still more gross. There are 4 Tanmatras. And what about Panchikrita Prithvi? It is the most gross out of the 5 Mahabhuta. So there are 5 Tanmatras in it. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are called, as I said, Pancha Mahabhuta. In every Manvantara, I am not going into the detail of what is Manvantara. Hiranyagarbha's one daytime is called Kalpa, and it consists of 1,000 Mahayugas. And the Manvantara, there are 14 Manvantaras in one daytime of Hiranyagarbha, that is in one Kalpa. And for each Manvantara, there is a Prajapati and his team of Devatas are appointed. Now Prajapati's job is to do Trivritkarana. He mixes the Panchikrita, first the last 3 Panchikrita Mahabhuta in various proportions to create Bhautika Bhuta, Panjabhutas. And with them first are born the Devatas. Who are the Devatas? Agni Devata, Vayu Devata, Akasha Devata, Bhumi Devata, Prithvi Devata. All these are Devatas. Those Shariras, those bodies are first created. And this is called Trivrit Karana, number 1. Next, the plants are created. So Trivrit Karana 2 in different proportions when the Panjabhutas are mixed. The body of plants and trees are created which have only got prana. And in Trivrit Karana 3, using these Panjamahabhutas which are Trivrit Krit, body of animals are made and also body of human beings are made. The difference between animals and beings is animals have prana, manas and buddhi. Human beings have in addition vak, the speech. Therefore now all the bodies have been created from where? From apara prakriti. The 8 things, Ashtavidha we said, where there is samashti manas, samashti buddhi, samashti ahankara, and the 5 tanmatras. These 8 together after panchikarana and after trivrit karana make the bodies of animals, human beings, plants and devatas. So devatas don't have gross body like the animals and human beings. So their body, they have subtle body only. And Hiranyagarbha has no bhautika, it is all abhautika. He has everything in only sukshma, he doesn't have a gross body, and even his mind and intellect are very, very subtle. But the mind and intellect of human beings, etc., are a part of the cosmic mind of Hiranyagarbha or Brahmaji, as we have said. Now what happens in all these bodies, for them to be able to move and be active, the prana has to enter. So Ishvara or Parameshwari enter every body that has been created as prana, then these bodies are able to move. That means every body's mind, buddhi, karmendriyas, the jnanendriyas, all come into action because of the fact that prana, in the form of prana, Ishvara has entered every body. So now Parameshwari, who is none other than Brahman himself, comes down as Apara and Para Prakriti in form of Maya and creates the various bodies and then making them as Jivatma by entering into them as prana. That is why she is Srimata. She is the one who has created this universe. And we will see that she is the one who is going to sustain this universe. She is Trigunatmika. There are 3 gunas in everything. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So in everything she comes with various gunas, and all the bodies are created on the basis of the prarabdha karma. That means in previous births, whatever they have done, each soul gets a new body based on the karma phala. This is how, this we call each body separately, we call vyashti. And all put together we call samashti. That is, all these, the collectivity of all these individuals is called the samashti. So she has first created in the samashti Hiranyagarbha in a bhautika way and commissions Hiranyagarbha or Chaturmukha Brahma to do the rest of the process of creation. But in everything she is there. She's pervading in every item in this universe in the form of para and apara prakriti. And ultimately, when pralaya takes place or dissolution takes place, everything in seed form enters Maya, that is, it enters Mother. And she becomes one with Parabrahman. As we said in pralaya or dissolution, there is only Parabrahman. And Srimata is also Parabrahman only. Lalita Parameshwari is Parabrahman only. So that is why if understand this cycle of creation, we will again see later in the thousand names the word tanmatra coming. So it is better for us to understand this creation cycle of creation or Srishti properly to understand the various tasks of Srimata or Lalita Parameshwari. So this is what the Srishti Kriya tells us. Sharada Sharadam Bhojavadanaam Vadanabhuje Sarvada Sarvadasmakam Sannidhim Sannidhim Kriyat Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashyakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda-vibhagine Vyomavatvyaप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः.